What if the Mosasaurus never went extinct? Imagine a modern ocean harboring a monstrous, colossal predator far more massive than anything alive today, a creature that once ruled the seas 66 million years ago. Say hello to the evolved, modern-day Mosasaurus. In this alternate reality, we explore the adaptations that would have allowed this deadly marine reptile to survive extinction and thrive today, becoming one of the most terrifying beasts in modern waters. No longer just shark attacks, headlines would tell of Mosasaurus ambushes, unsuspecting swimmers snatched from beaches or boats by a 50-foot opportunistic hunter capable of accelerating to 48 kilometers per hour, 30 miles per hour, in a heartbeat. Like a crocodile, it could lurch into action with incredible speed, using its powerful shark-like tail to propel itself toward prey. But this tail might also become its curse, sought after for mythical properties much like shark fins are today. Yet hunting a Mosasaurus would be nearly impossible. Only a dead specimen washed ashore might yield its prized tail. Those unfortunate enough to encounter one in the wild would find themselves locked in a massive, double-hinged jaw lined with rows of sharp teeth designed not to chew, but to pierce and hold. Each jaw ratchet would drag the prey further in. An adult human would be swallowed in just a few bites. Worse still, its third row of teeth prevented any hope of escape. Evolution had turned this apex predator into a near-perfect killer. Beginning with the small 1.5-meter Agialosaurs, its lizard-like ancestors, the Mosasaurus rapidly evolved during the Cretaceous into 9 to 15-meter giants like Mosasaurus hoffmanni, outcompeting older marine predators like ichthyosaurs. With whale-like flippers and a streamlined body, it devoured everything. Sharks, sea turtles, even its own kind. Cannibalism wasn't uncommon. Fossils have even revealed multiple mosasaur skulls inside a single specimen. In the modern era, humans would be mere snacks. It could take down whales, crush rivals with a bony snout like the Tylosaurus, and sniff out prey using a forked tongue and chemoreception, just like snakes. One wrong scent, and a potential mate might become dinner. A single drop of blood could lure one from the depths. Deep-sea diving would all but vanish. Originally, prehistoric Mosasaurus didn't swim into deep waters, but one evolved to survive modern oceans likely would, adapting new traits to conquer these ecosystems. To understand how, we must revisit the cataclysm that wiped them out, the asteroid impact at the Yucatan Peninsula. It carved a massive crater, unleashed global tsunamis, and melted rock that rained molten debris onto the Earth, reshaping the planet and erasing the Mosasaurus from existence, or so we thought. After the asteroid struck the Earth, molten debris rained back down in the form of deadly, superheated shards. Any Mosasaurus at the ocean surface would have been instantly shredded. A global ash cloud triggered a decade-long impact winter, killing most plant and animal life. In the oceans, sulfuric acid rain and the extinction of 90% of phytoplankton led to the collapse of the marine ecosystem. 75% of marine species died out, including the Mosasaurus, whose large prey vanished. Unlike smaller species that could adapt to eating algae or krill, the Mosasaurus, apex predator of the seas for 25 million years, required big game to survive. However, had it evolved certain features like deeper diving ability, more fin-like limbs, a swim bladder, and external sinuses like whales, it might have survived the extinction. Being warm-blooded would have allowed it to migrate through cold waters in search of food. With these traits, the Mosasaurus could have hunted deep-sea prey like sharks, becoming a terrifying yet nearly unstoppable predator. But this is only one possibility. A second, more peaceful evolutionary path might have emerged during the Paleogene epoch. As food scarcity pushed some Mosasauruses to hunt smaller fish, some may have gradually evolved into filter feeders, similar to how toothed whales evolved into baleen whales. As temperatures soared during the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum, triggering massive algae blooms, these gentle giants would have adapted with narrower, mesh-like teeth, eventually developing sieve-like structures to feed on krill and plankton. Meanwhile, the aggressive Mosasaurus would have grown even larger, possibly reaching lengths of 25 to 30 meters as it fed on turtles, crocodiles, and sharks in the warm seas. Both species would have thrived during fluctuating climates, one dominating the food chain through brute strength, the other through passive filtering. Over millions of years, they would become masters of survival, one a ruthless marine predator and the other a massive, whale-like feeder. In today's world, the terrifying Mosasaurus wouldn't just threaten swimmers and divers. Even small fishing vessels could become targets, leaving only the largest commercial boats safe from its path. Each evolutionary path paints a different picture, But both show the immense adaptability and potential dominance of a Mosasaurus that never went extinct. Even the toughest sea creatures, those built like tanks, would steer clear of the hunting grounds of the vicious Mosasaurus. But what if these monsters evolved to become pack hunters? While fossil records from 66 million years ago show Mosasauruses were solitary and aggressive, often engaging in brutal snout-to-snout battles, the pressures of survival could have gradually driven them toward cooperation. Fast forward to the Neogene period, around 23 to 2.6 million years ago, when the megalodon emerged, consuming over 1,200 kilograms, 2,500 pounds, of food daily. This new apex predator directly competed with the Mosasaurus for baleen whales. To compete effectively, some Mosasauruses may have evolved social hunting behaviors, forming small pods of 2 to 3 individuals to coordinate kills, flank targets, and outmaneuver rivals. This change, solidified during the glaciation cycles of the Quaternary period, would have necessitated increased intelligence, evidenced by larger brains, and ultimately allowed the Mosasaurus to outcompete the megalodon, possibly even contributing to its extinction. These social Mosasauruses would have continued dominating the seas, targeting even massive whale sharks and isolated blue whales. Meanwhile, the gentle giant, Mosasaurus, an evolutionary offshoot, would have thrived in polar waters, feeding on krill and growing to enormous sizes. After the last ice age, the oceans would become rich with prey again, and the modern-day Mosasaurus, now a 40-meter-long, 130 feet, 200-ton marine terror, would rule the seas. In contrast, the gentle giant would remain in the cold Antarctic, far from its ferocious cousin. Governments might consider eliminating these predators, but ethicists would argue for coexistence, emphasizing the ecological balance they help maintain. Like sharks, the Mosasaurus would remove weak and sick animals, preserving healthy populations and preventing the collapse of marine ecosystems. With improved sonar and mapping technology, humans could avoid conflicts by tracking their territories. However, while the vicious Mosasaurus maintained its dominance, the gentle giant would suffer from human greed, hunted for luxury goods until near extinction. As their numbers dwindled, whales would reclaim their niche. Yet, the relentless appetite of the vicious Mosasaurus would continue to grow, leading to speculation that only another monstrous relic, like a titanoboa, could one day challenge its reign, but that's a story for another time.